Really don't want to have a feedback loop going on here, so I'm just trying to figure that out real quick. Also, just trying to make sure I'm not actually just making a video that has absolutely no audio whatsoever, since these are being recorded now. That's a whole new thing to think about. So, man. Yep, half asleep. Okay, I'm waking up now. Alright, so trying to put a little bit more red. Get more red in this bad boy. I don't remember where that was. Probably all the way. Yeah, that's at 0. Okay. That's fine. Man, if you've been just sitting here watching me dick around with this laptop, I'm so sorry. I think there's also a delay. There's a delay on the stream. So if you have any questions or talking, I will respond as soon as I see it. Oh boy. Alrighty. Still waking up, but I'm gonna try to start throwing some paint on this bad boy again today. I am very content with how it's looking so far. Good morning, Mr. Lagui. How are you, Eric? Awkward in the old. Palette. This is a palette. Ba-da-bow. Be-dee-doo. That was the hair reveal also. In case anyone else is watching this, and they're like, man, look at that mane of hair. I don't have a shaved head underneath the hoodie. It's actually just all this crazy. Oh, okay. I'm tired. Also trying to make sure I'm not putting my face like directly into this camera. All right, Eric. We're doing this thing. We're doing it live. Oh no. I wiggled the camera when I bumped into it. Okay. Yeah, this guy looks awful. So, this skin is like done for the most part. It's gonna be, it's gonna get some gloss, but for the most part, that skin's pretty much done. And I am very content because it looks terrible. Man, I'm really. So my other camera, I've got a nice camera for recording. Right now I'm using my phone. But yeah, I'm very content with this. It looks very unpleasant. It definitely is starting to look more phallic, I think. The more the skin tones have gotten more nasty and the smoother it's gotten, I think it's definitely gotten more noticeable. Fantastic. Good seeing the master at his craft. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Eric. I would mess with the camera more. I'll show you. I'm going to show you anyway. You get the reward. You're here. You get to see the Jumbo in her natural state. We've been working on trying to figure out. I set up studio. Bam, there she is. A lot of people, they say they come here for me. I don't know who you're really here for. You're here for Marco. So I try to give people what they want. All right. For real, though. Now I'm going to start doing stuff. I need my phone to look at my phone and make sure what I'm doing isn't looking crazy. It's just switching back and forth between OBS and YouTube so I can see if I'm still in the shot, or I could be like everybody else and put tape on my stuff and not move my cameras around. I'm itchy just looking at that fur, LOL. Oh, she's so soft. She's so soft, Eric. That's where I get all of my good cat mats. I get them from Jumbo. This is yet to be processed, but we got all kinds of also cat hairline. We got all kinds of good cat mats. You gotta have your cat mats, right? Is that blinding you? No, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, we're looking good. Okay, so now time. Put some paint on here. And look at that. It's only $6.50. That's not a napkin, that's a tissue. This is also a tissue. Why do I have all these tissues? Get out of here. I'm going to go get a napkin. And I'm going to dump out this nasty ass water that I've got. This is gross. And I painted on that. I'll put paint on it. Sorry, Margot. Alright. You can get back in your little bed. Aha. And that is how you get a tuft. Sometimes Margot runs off and she's just so scared that some of her hair just comes out. Nah, she just has tufts sometimes. She doesn't have an undercoat. She's too fancy for that. Okay. Now we're ready. Now we're ready to put some paint on this boy. Yeah. So, by recently, it was like 2 days ago, was made aware that apparently whenever I'm doing something, I have a tendency to start humming to myself. And Kelly, my wife, said, "Hey, what is that thing that you always hum?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She says, "You always hum this one tune." And now that I've started recording myself painting, it's just like I live in this like state where I'm like, okay, eventually I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna start humming this thing. And I did it the other day when Kelly was like, "That's it." She was like, "Okay." So I'm like, now I'm trying to figure out what this tune is that I when I go into autopilot, I just start humming. So that's been a fun thing. Just trying to figure out, hey, what is my just natural hold music that I've decided to just start humming when my brain just kind of turns itself off. So if you hear me humming something and you're like, "I know what that tune is," please tell me, because I'd like to know what it is too. And unfortunately, I've already forgotten the tune after we figured it out a couple times. So now right now I'm just hitting this with just a really, really milky, really thin down olive flesh from Pro Krill Monument Hobbies. Yeah, Monument Hobbies Pro Krill. I really like their paints. They're so smooth and very wet. That's good. That's gonna dry really well. Like, so much of like my painting is not I guess like, oh, that's what it looks like right now. It's kind of like you have to know what it's gonna look like once it dries. Like, if that makes sense. But it's just getting used to the tones and knowing how they set, which I feel like I say that like I know what I'm talking about. Writing down the musical notes spells out a cryptic message for telling the fate of the world. God, I wish. That would be really good. Just like, oh no, it turns out we weren't supposed to know. It was the Song of the Apocalypse that I've actually just been humming. A wish. Man, this is getting really, yeah, so like as it's starting to dry, like the skins, it's really getting more and more unpleasant. So I'm really vibing this. But this is pretty much, I was showing Kelly this last night, but like how I do skin is pretty basic. I think like the actual process compared to I think how a lot of people paint. I'm not like a master painter. I have a very specific way and I put models together, and I think that it turns out really good looking stuff in my style. I think my style is distinct, but it mainly revolves around doing a lot of texturing and then letting the texture do a lot of the work in conjunction with acrylics, or not acrylics, inks, washes. That's what I think the majority of my work is mainly just playing with inks and washes and skin tones outside of the physical sculpting and stuff, which is my favorite part. I got all this little milk kind of texture for our. Gosh, yeah, that is just such an unpleasant skin tone. Just like old cottage cheese. There's like a certain texture that and like look that I'm going for, and the only time I've ever seen them is like when I've hurt myself really bad, and and the wound had to heal more unpleasant as it dries out. Well, yeah, no, it's it really is. Man, did I mess this up? I'm picking this thing up and holding it, and now I'm like, have I just been holding this and you can't see? I don't think so. No, yeah, you can see. You can't see what the hell I'm painting. I'm backing this thing up. I'm so sorry, Eric. I've gotten way too in there. I'm too in the sauce. I'm too in the camera. I'm not in the sauce. It's 6:57 a.m. I don't know, shit. Maybe I am in the sauce. I'm not up to date on my slang. Maybe I've been in the sauce this whole time. But yeah, so I'm mainly painting on. I'm backing this thing up. I am way too close. Why am I so close? I keep thinking, man, you're gonna want to see this. You're gonna want to see all these close details that I'm getting. And then I just pick it up and I hold it out of the camera where you can't even fucking see. What am I doing? All right. Here we go. Yeah, really need to get to where I can watch this without having to switch screens back and forth. But that should be an issue of the past. I'm hoping to get my stream pretty normalized the next couple of days. This is, yeah, the skin tones are very not good. There's just a lot of. Gotta take the glasses off. Gotta get it real good. Don't want to get paint on that Gucci. A lot of really good tones. Okay, now here's the funny part. I put these back on if I want to see what anyone said in chat. And no one said anything, so it's a lot funnier now because I just look like a goof. Like I think, oh man, yeah, that's getting cut. It's pretty much. I think I probably got distracted and I never finished what I was saying. But this is just Reichland Flesh Shade, which I'm really surprised with that I've gotten as awesome tones out of it as I have, as easily as I have. Just because it's pretty simplistic. Just pretty much putting that on there, and then just lots of very small thin coats over top of it of all of the flesh. And then I have mixed in certain spots a little bit of pale pink, which I really like. I really like pale pink a lot. My palette is just looking real gross. It's kind of dried out. I got real distracted and I forgot to close it last night, which is a terrible thing to do. Don't do that. Practice what I say. Practice what I preach, not what I do. I think that's the saying. Don't do that either, though. I say a lot of crazy shit. That's actually now that I've thought about it, that's going to be the new. I think that's the vibe of my YouTube channel. I'm going to be an unreliable narrator who teaches you how to paint. You're just like, I think that's what he said, but no, he just lied and he was just telling me how to do things wrong the whole time. Unreliable narrator. That's real dumb. I'm sorry. I'm still waking up. Oh. You know, they said that Streaming on YouTube would be easy, and by they I mean Mr. Pink. But it's not as easy. I feel weird and lost. Instagram, I knew who people were. Man, that looks good. Look at me all in my oats and shit. How is the eye made? It has that dead fish eye look. Oh, thank you. So the eye is very creepy. So I took I reached into my taxidermy fun drawer. Eyes, teeth. Sorry, no F. Teeth. So I've got a drawer of just a bunch of taxidermy bits and dental-like things from my wife. So I've got a whole box of dental casts of other people, not just my wife. I only had one of my wife's, and that went into the concubine model. But this is what the eye looked like, and it might have been brown. No, this is brown, I think. So the back of them, it's weird. The back of them is actually where they get their color from. I think they're clear. Unreliable creator is such a rich idea. Especially there's only subtle hints you're lying. See, Eric, this is it. I need you to play in this space with me. That unreliable creator is a very... I don't think that I'm reliable enough. I don't think I have my shit together enough that I could do it without derailing myself, where it's just like, oh shit, nope, yep, I led myself down this hole. My hair keeps getting caught in my eye. So, yeah, anywho, I took one of these, stuck it down in there, and I just glued it there. And when we drove to Texas. When I drove out to Texas, that's all it was. It was just this stuck in that. There was none of the actual, the white of the eye. It was just this part. And when I got there, I knew, all of these were just built, so, like a fever dream matte brush, just, the fastest I've ever built anything. So I was really trying to bust out all the fastest moves that I know, and the white of that eye, I've got to find the stuff. It's spackling. My voice just sounded terrible here. Spackling. It's spackling. It's spackling. That's what I would say if I was a Pokemon and my name was Spackling. Spackling. But yeah, vinyl spackling. I like this stuff a lot. It's expensive as shit from I need to throw some stuff on here to just kind of fill in, but I did a bunch of sculpting on this with just this stuff. And I say it's expensive. I mean, this was $20, which $20 and Warhammer money and hobby money would typically buy you something a fraction this size for what this stuff is. So it's crazy good for the money. And the main reason I'm not in the pocket of Red Devil spackling. I do like their spackling from a house project standpoint. I will say that. It is not only the one that I use for hobbying, but also the one that I use in my house. I think it's not true. That might not be true. I might use the tab lightweight, but yep, that's cheap by GW standards. Yeah, dude, pretty much though. Man, I'm super derailed. I just start talking. You know this though. So pretty much underneath here, all this, the ground, that's all that is spackling, and then not the hive stuff, because I love them boys. My dirt from the floor. Dirt from the floor. But I just take that and I throw it on here, mix it all in, and that is just how I got my base texture. But taking that, I got way too derailed. the whole reason that I did that, the whole reason I did this is because this stuff dries crazy fast. That is why I did it. It's really good filler because it has a insanely one half to 2 hours after spackling is completely dry, usually a half to 2 hours depending on temperature and humidity. Yeah, in 30 minutes I can hit this with paint typically. If I'm unlucky, like an hour. That is why I use this stuff, and that is why it's worth like way more than $20. But again, it has its limitations because it's not made for sculpting. It's made for filling holes in your walls and then not weighing more than like the filler in the wall, like than the rest of the wall. So it's got to stay in there, and that's a big part of building these models specifically. Building big demons, building big, anything really big that you're building to play with. You really have to think about weight, because, like, I mean, shit. This is Gandalf. I got this guy from my neighbor. I mean, it weighs nothing, but this is like the weight that the table that you're playing on is used to having. It's used to having something that weighs nothing, and I mean, it has weight. Like you can hear. I don't know how much it weighs, but it weighs a bit. I'll weigh it today. I should weigh these. I bet people would like to know that. That'd be kind of fun. I'll weigh them. I'll find out how much they all weigh. I'll put that on the list of things to do today. So Gandalf, get back up there. That wasn't me just showing off Gandalf. Be like, hey, check out this Gandalf I've got. He's a very rare mini. I know this. But yeah, no. The stuff dries super fast, so I put that in there. I was able to sculpt up, the shape of the eye, and then within 30 minutes to an hour, it was dry enough for me to put paint on, which I was painting these in between, like trying to play and trying to find food and talking to everyone. So it was just such a mad rush, like the whole time I was there, and then much less, here. Like before I left, I was just a crazy person in my basement for days, just painting, doing this kind of stuff over and over and over. I was also building the big walker at the time, which still needs to be put back together. But anyway, so yeah, I like that spackling a lot. It does not. I also used a bunch of it on in this area. Like that is absolutely what that is. I did a lot of filling in with it on the head part here. The scale with the rotating Lazy Susan base camera view would be amazing. Please make it happen. I really should. That would be good. So I'm glad that you're on that, because I bought these Lazy Susans that are super heavy duty. I bought them when I got back from Texas because of my experience of painting specifically the child inverted. I think this is the biggest one I got, but nope, it's this one. Yeah, this is the biggest one I got. But I got this because I was absolutely not prepared for how different painting models that are almost 2 feet tall is. So I was trying to work on this thing at my table in my little tent, and I was having to hold it. Yeah, I mean, I can barely, with this camera set up. Let's come back up a little bit so you can see. I mean, that is a big ass model. Sorry, where'd Gandalf go? All right, there's Gandalf. Gandalf in the palm of your hand, baby. Yeah, he's a baby. So Gandalf in the palm of your hand. He's a very big baby. very big dead baby, undead baby, unborn baby, unborn, undead, unalive. But yeah, so the whole thing was Lazy Susans, dude. Yeah, I had not thought about Lazy Susans except for like thinking about like my mom and my grandma and like food, dinner. Like, oh, get the Lazy Susan, turn the Lazy Susan. It's just like, but then I thought, man, if I made a Lazy Susan, I could sit here and I could turn this thing and I could paint on this. That would really make a big difference. So I got back and I ordered 3 different sized Lazy Susans, and I have not put them together yet. But yeah, that I think will be a good call to have on my desk. Lazy Susans. The scale, yeah, scale would be good. And then let's see, what else would be good? Man, that would be good. Eric, I need you to help me figure out what I need to make this more in line with your viewing pleasure. I got this camera today. I bought it on top of my return bin. So I've got this new camera. And I did not realize that I needed a HDMI micro cable. I'm an old man, so I ordered a mini instead, like a dum-dum. So I have my HDMI cable. That's wrong. My other one's coming today, so I'll be able to do 4K. Bam! And then I got this little camera up here, catching my pretty mug. I don't know. Can you see? Kind of. This is recorded. I'm not going to explain. There is something that I'm working on as a present for my mother. If you're looking in the background, you're like, is that a nutcracker? Yes. My mom likes nutcrackers. And now I'm just going to wait for the internet to be like, oh, okay, that's why. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that someone watches this and it's just like, oh, his mom liked nutcrackers. That's why. Women always have the best stuff. Fly fishing is just the sport a surgeon made from raiding his wife's creations. Dude, you're right. Huh. I've never really thought about that. But yeah, I'm not even going to start on that. When women have the best stuff, they always do. They always have the best stuff. Look at this. Look at this. Right here. They're over here hiding these best brushes. Cosmopolitan, I'm on to you. Every time I go to pick up one of them, it's just like they just want to teach me how to please my man. But really, they tell you all the best dry brushing, like painting techniques, they're in there. You just got to know. And you can also learn how to please your man. Maybe. But if I'm being honest, you should just talk to them. They'll tell you what he likes. That's a key part to having open relationships. Not an open relationship like that, but having open dialogue. That is a tip. Just a random tip. For everybody. This is not me just talking to Eric. But now I'm talking to Eric. I'm really starting to remember that this is being recorded. So it's just like, I don't do good with that. You know this, Eric. Which is kind of cool because it's kind of like you're getting in on the ground floor of a guy that you know is going to get canceled. Which I think is kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to do my best not to. I prefer not to be. I know we don't want to get canceled. Right, Margot? You want to get canceled? For what? I don't think that's a good idea at all. Well, that was an adorable sound that came out of you. Marco. Honey, We're streaming right now. And also, you don't really jump up in my lap too easily. There's typically a lot of stuff fumbling and struggling, and the claws. Oh, Lord, the claws. When they come out, you know. That's the best part about having a cat jump in your lap is the claws. Is you know when they're like, I don't know if I feel good about this. True. How much minis painting technique comes from nail painting and makeup application techniques? Oh. Makeup. An insane amount. What? Girl? You have got a lot to say today, huh? You want to talk to Eric about putting makeup on? I've watched your morning routine. You don't put makeup on. You sit with your mom. She puts makeup on. But you've watched a lot of that, so... Actually, Margot might have put in, like, the 10,000 hours here of watching her mom do her makeup, which I'm going to throw out there. I think her mom is great at makeup. I don't know anything about... Actually, that's not true. I know enough about makeup because I know enough about painting. And art. And I can tell for sure when girls are not good at makeup. I think that's a thing. If you're wondering, can guys tell if I'm bad at makeup? Some can't though. So I'm not dunking on women for makeup. I honestly, I'm not saying that like makeup is a good thing. I like my wife out of makeup, in makeup. She likes it. I like her to do her thing, whatever she likes to do. I try to just be supportive. Makeup. What I was saying before I got off on this tangent, so I don't get canceled. Because I hate women. There you go, Eric. That's the first soundbite for my smear campaign that you and my wife has been working on a smear campaign for me, or so she says. She's been making jokes about a smear campaign for me for years because it's extremely easy to say, to just get a soundbite of me saying something completely insane out of context because, again, a lot of times I just say things. It's one of the fun parts of ADHD. It's like constantly trying to... It's like if God was telling you things, but then you're like, but what if I don't believe in God? And you're like, okay, well, it might actually be Tourette's. And it still might be, but I think it's actually just how my brain is just constantly working all the time. Adding these quotes to the wiki. I mean, honestly, if you just keep this as the audio going, and just record things I say, we could look back at it. Just look at it like some kind of like scroll, some prophecies. Just keep it going. Again, yeah, I'm still waking up. Honey. Hunty. Marco. Princess. Baby girl. Princess. I know, you are the princess. What do you need? I'm trying to paint. I'm trying to entertain Eric. Me. Well, Margot's here. If you have any questions for her, I'll be sure to ask them. I'll pass them on. If he has any questions for you, Margot, I will ask them. I'll make sure that you can, and you will not be censored. I know that's a big thing. She hates censorship. The media is always censoring the stuff that Margot's throwing down. In defense, she goes way too hard. I know, I'm just saying, when you like start out like, hey, give a speech to the kids, you can't start out with just a hard F-bomb where you look at the camera and just yell the F word at children. You can't do that. I knew that. She did not know that. That's why we're not allowed back. Anywho. Man, that yellow is looking nasty. It's looking nasty. But it's gonna look nastier because we're about to hit it with some Recklinville shade. That looks good. Man. So. Yeah. The color I'm going for is just like, ooh, I don't want to mess that up. There's some really good, like, spider webbing going on. And I think that is a hair. I think a little hair probably got caught on there, and it's just caught it just a little bit. And not to be completely disgusting and gross. I mean, at the same time, I mean, it's what kind of my art is. I make a lot of really gross stuff. Yellow internal bits remind me of the frog I had to dissect myself. That, honestly, is probably where I was kind of going with it. Child. Hi. Did you want to sit with me? Would you like to sit with me? Okay. Well, then I'm going to pick you up calmly. Oh, God. I know. Come here. Cold, rotten to the core. Okay. As we were saying, Eric. Hello, Jumbo. Jumbo. All right. So, yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. I was trying to. There are a bunch of things that are inside animals that have really unpleasant colors. And these are seed pods. So, and that is a nod to. It's a nod to the thing from me. Now, whether or not anyone would ever probably pick up on it, including, anyone who worked on the thing, I doubt. But it's a reference to the dog tongues, which in the scene, the kennel scene, when the dog changes into the thing for the first time, you get like the first look of what you're in for with this movie when it goes so balls to the wall hard in that first scene where it's, I don't know, but it's weird and pissed off. There are so many good colors, a lot of yellows, some greens and blues that are inside all the awfulness that pours out of the monster as it changes. But the dog tongues are like a big part of, I think, the aesthetic that everyone remembers, because it looks like a flower. At the end, there's this spiral thing that opens up, and it's getting ready to launch out, and they start burning it. But it is actually, it's like a ring of dog tongues that are merged together like a star, and it looks like a flower. And that is such a repulsive, it's so unique. Man, how did they think of that? I think of weird shit all the time, but that's the next level shit. Dog tongues. But yeah, they look very flowery when you take the glands and everything. So that got me thinking about wanting to make at least part of this have that same kind of look of that should be inside. It's too It should be inside. Yellow internal. Yeah. So that is what I was going for. I barely bumped your little back. She is spoiled rotten. Absolutely rotten. Wow. That girl. Seriously, I tell you what. She's holding up her hair, off her wing. And make sure she's okay. That baby is too small. Got all these little bags. So people are like, oh yeah, let me get some of that good. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. And then I'd like roll it up. Something like that. And that's how I would sell my cat's hair like drugs. So now we've covered that. Back to what we were doing. Oh yeah, no, biological shaves in the wrong medium are very troubling, and that is like, I feel like a good chunk of my work. I feel like a good chunk of my work is just coming to terms of like, hey, inside me, there's a lot of things that I don't like, literally and physically. Literally, you know, metaphorically, physically. There's a lot of stuff in there, and I should just get in there and play around in it. That is what this was kind of like a play in the whole process, this whole group of models. Playing around in there in the bad bits that you don't really want to address. But I'm actually going to play around physically inside there. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Man, I don't know how loud this is on your end when people walk around upstairs, but I'm currently trapped in the basement of this house. I don't know why I told you that, Eric. I'm not actually trapped. This is my house. I live here. Yeah, it's gonna look a little gross. I need to go back over. Someone asked me earlier what other black I use, and it is this traditional Chinese ink, Ultra Black. It conforms to ASTM D4236, which is always something that I check. I want to make sure that when I use something that I know that it conforms to ASTM G4236. That's always been something very important to me, and I'm glad to know that this does. But yeah, I put that on all the legs, and that is all that is on the wood currently. Other than all the other coats where this thing was previously painted. I primed it and then I just hit it again with this, and that's why it has the look that it does. This is all just that and that. Now it's got a little bit of paint on there because I touched that. But yeah, so someone asked me how I got this charcoal look, and I told them, I'm pretty sure it was Chris, but it might have been Dark Isles. Someone asked me how I got this charcoal look, and I said, oh, that is a terrible sound. I'm so sorry. Musso Black, which I wasn't connected. That really threw me off. I thought that I was going to mess up the camera if I moved that because there's a camera on it, but this is that camera. Musso Black. So, I do have, that was a weird way to say it. I do have Black 4.0, and I think I used a little bit of it. I'll tell you, for how long it took to get to me, that jar does not stay closed enough to make me not angry. My experience with the Stuart Simple Company was not my favorite, but that is because I don't think that they actually own a business. I think they are just artists that every now and then need money. And I get that because, like, that's like 90% of the people I, like, hung out with growing up. Like, I get it. But it's nuts when, like, you order something and, like, it's expensive as it is. And it is cool. But, like, I mean, it was like 4 months of, like, no communication. So I don't really care for that. So instead I went to Amazon, like, while I was waiting, and I picked this up because people said that there was a comparison between them, and it is very awesome. Musso Black. I don't have anything that I can be like, bam, this is Musso Black, except for this bad boy. So I was making this for Tim, which is still on the list of things to do, but those eyes were done with the Musso Black, and they look bottomless. And same thing with the biggest thing from my stuff I took to Texas is the child inverted on its base, the other herald, the gate. The gate itself is done with Musso Black, so it is just abyssal black. Just you cannot see. Same thing, the eyes of the Paramore. The Paramore's eyes are painted with Musso Black. But anyway, ultra black, traditional Chinese ink. It doesn't say shit on the bottle about what is in it. I made a joke about ASTM D4236. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's something that might explain what's in it. When I looked it up, it's been a hot minute since I've looked it up. I'm pretty sure the main ingredient that was in it is charcoal, like just straight charcoal, which, looking at how it turns out, I mean, yep, that looks like charcoal. It also has a consistency to it that I was trying to explain to my wife, but it is unlike anything that I have really messed with. Like, I don't know. The only way to explain it is that it seems dirty. It seems like very, it reminds me of like motor oil, like used motor oil. It's like painting with used motor oil if used motor oil was the consistency of milk or water. It's just, there's something about that you're like, this just seems gross. It's ordering the Citizen Sleeper Tarot RPG from Austin Cole. Citizen Sleeper. That sounds really familiar. Amazing design artwork, but horrible customer service and shipping. Yeah, dude. I mean, that can really, it can absolutely kill your desire to, like, want something. Like, the main reason that I went with Stuart Simple, like, or ordered stuff from Stuart Simple was, one, I wanted the Black 4.0. 2, fuck Amish Couture. 3, these. These are insanely, like, bright pigments. And these 3 in particular, and all 4 of them are real good. But these 3 in particular, I was really excited to drizzle and drape and dabble, sprinkle all over my Emperor's Children, my cacophony. I want them to look like they have been painted on with just the most jarish colors. So I got those. That was a long tangent. I've got like 4 minutes before I'm going to start making coffee, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more here. Hopefully I haven't been too unentertaining, Eric, but are you not entertained, Eric? Oh boy. I actually am currently off work. I was debating on saying anything because I'm like, man, I don't want to bring down the vibe, but since we work together, I figured I'd mention it in case you're just like, hey man, I am on leave for a couple days for bereavement leave due to a death in the family. So I am have been taking the time. Fuck me. Alright. We get to use some super glue. It's just on the brush. I wasn't really talking, but I don't really want to talk about it anyway. Not death in the family. I'd rather just not even acknowledge it. I'd rather just put super glue here and enjoy my days off. Here we go. That's how we do it here. That's how we do it. And then we take that and we stick it right back in there. And it's not. Okay. There we go, Eric. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, but we're in the middle of painting. Can't that hold up on? We got zip kicker. Bam! Hit with that. And put the cap back on, because if I don't, I will forget about it. Or the cap will be on my desk for days, maybe years. So, right now, we're going in here with, you know what, you love it, Reichland Flesh Shade on the Reichland Flesh Shade. We're going down here. We're just getting it red and wet and messy. You know, I like it. Yes. Yes. I don't want to blind you. So I won't pull that up. That looks good. I think we need a little more water. So let me pop that. Maybe spread that. I like to just kind of play around it a lot, to be honest. Like, a lot of it is just playing around and seeing what looks organic. I think that's the biggest part of really my work, what I like to do. I first got into the ink 28 hobby. I mean, I don't even know if it was technically called. It wasn't called the 28 scene, that's for sure. Whenever I joined the ammo bunker, it was just, I think, Inquisitor. It might have said 28 whenever I joined. Anyhow, but wow, the flesh tone is making the seed pods look like screaming mouths. Yeah, I really wanted them to look like something that was supposed to be on the inside. Something that's supposed to be on the inside that, like, would, like, open. There's just a lot of feathery things inside bodies that are just not pleasing, and I really am trying to bring a lot of those on the outside. I am going to stop it here, though. I might pop it back up because I am kind of just going to be doing this for most of the day, so I probably am going to stop here. I'm going to make some coffee, send my wife off to work, but I will be back on later. Sit pretty. I just paused my own stream. I didn't close out of the stream. I'm an idiot.